Untitled Romantasy Project. Chapter 2, Show Your Glow, by Magic Mike writes again. Lulia nursed her scotch in the flickering lamplight of the Lateran mud. Her eyes kept drifting back to the stage where Ken in Dodden Street coaxed music out of his lute like it was a lover. But as the last chord faded, the haze lifted and reality returned. She still had no money, no belongings, no plan. When the bartender came back to wipe the counter, she tapped her glass. "Never mind. I don't want to serve ale and pretend I'm happy." The bartender glanced up. He was gruff-looking, older than her by at least 10 years, with streaks of silver in his dark beard.
"Smart choice," he muttered. "This place eats people alive. You'd smile for drunks and cry yourself to sleep."
"I already cry myself to sleep," Lulia said softly, then laughed bitterly. He paused, watching her.
"You got somewhere to stay?"
"No." He nodded toward the stairs behind the bar.
"I've got a room, just one floor up. It's not much, but it's warm."
She stared into her drink. Her heart screamed no, but her body, it was too tired, too lonely. She followed him up the creaky steps. His room smelled like old wood and pipe smoke. Worn books lined crooked shelves. A cot with a wool blanket sat beneath a narrow window, and a fire crackled softly in a hearth. They both stood looking awkwardly at each other. Her eyes drifted to a small side table near the window. There was a dusty frame there with a photo inside two men. One was clearly the bartender, younger and more hopeful. The other man wore a full cowboy outfit, but not in a gaudy way. His coat was earth-toned and practical, his boots scuffed, his hat tilted just slightly back, but his expression was what drew her in. He was gazing at a night sky full of stars, and a single tear rolled down his cheek. "Who's that?" she asked, pointing. The bartender followed her gaze and smirked sadly.
"My brother. He's a wanderer, a stargazer, comes and goes, thinks the stars have secrets."
They then refocused on each other with a warm smile. Lulia took off her shoes and offered up some small talk. "What's your name?" The bartender said in a deep voice.
"Wes. You?"
She said sheepishly, "Lulia." He offered her his bed, but she stood close instead, reached for his hand, and pulled him in. There was no music, no flower petals, just the raw heat of touch. They kissed awkward at first, then hungrily. His lips were firmer than Joppy's, more urgent. She let herself sink into the moment, let the need rise from where it had been buried beneath months of longing and loneliness. His hands explored her back, her hips, her thighs. She gasped when his beard brushed the slope of her neck. He fumbled with the ties of her blouse, but she stopped him. "No," she said softly. "Let me." She unfastened the blouse slowly, letting it slide off her shoulders with a practiced grace. As the fabric dropped to the floor, the air around her shimmered faintly. A warm, golden light pulsed just beneath her skin, like sunlight passing through honeyed glass. The flickering firelight was suddenly matched by a second glower. Wes stepped back, stunned.
"What is that?"
Lulia's breath was quick, but her voice was steady. "It happens sometimes, when I feel everything at once." The light rippled gently across her bare chest and shoulders, then trailed down her spine in soft waves. She didn't command it, it moved with her desire, her sorrow, her craving to be touched and wanted. He reached out, hesitant, then placed his hands on her glowing skin.
"You're like a lantern come to life," he murmured.
Their bodies found a rhythm. She climbed into his lap, her legs wrapping around him, their movement urgent but not rushed. His fingers traced glowing lines across her back, her hips, and every place he touched seemed to thrum with light. The golden aura spread between them, softening shadows, illuminating dust motes in the air like drifting stars. For a moment, she felt beautiful, not just in appearance, but in essence. She wasn't trying to please or seduce. She was radiant in her own right. But as they reached their peak together, something cracked inside her. The light burst outward in a flash, then dimmed. Her body stilled, but her heart reeled. She lay back on the cot, breathing hard, watching the ceiling as the warm glow around her faded completely. The silence was heavy. He rolled onto his side, reaching out to stroke her arm.
That was something.
She nodded, but tears pricked her eyes. I feel horrible. Wes blinked.
Why?
I don't even know you, and I think I just used you because I feel empty. He didn't look offended. He looked understanding.
You wouldn't be the first. This city's full of people trying to fill a hole that can't be filled.
I left a man who loved me, she whispered. Maybe he wasn't right for me, but he never treated me badly. And now I'm here, with my things stolen, sleeping with a stranger, glowing like a damn firefly.
You didn't use me, he said. You reached for something real. You just grabbed the closest warm thing. I get it.
Lulia turned her head to the side. I don't even know who I am anymore. Wes propped himself on an elbow.
I do. You're a girl who glows when she feels things too deeply. And if you're planning to stay in this twisted city, I can show you how to survive it. You don't have to do it alone.
She looked over at him. And what if I don't want to just survive?
Then, well, figure out how you can live.
Hello, bonjour. I am Crandall. Welcome to the podcast that answers the question, if an infinite number of monkeys will write Shakespeare, what can a few dozen monkeys do? This is an interactive podcast where you guys and me and Ripley and now Magic Mike writes again. We all work together to finish a 10-chapter story this season. We're doing romantasy, which is really so much fun, to be honest. And don't worry if you don't have any ideas of what chapter 3 should look like. We're going to have a brainstorm. So as I said, now we have a new contributor. We have Magic Mike writes again. Let's listen to his chapter, Hero's Words. Magic Mike writes again says, Yo, this one came straight from the real. Those nights when you're lost, heart bruised, no map, just pain and heat. I was thinking about how the city don't care if you're broken, and how sometimes we reach for strangers just to feel like we matter, even for a minute. Lulia's power is when sorrow, lust, and longing crash together. This is for anyone who's ever felt alone in a room full of people, searching for meaning in someone else's arms, just to feel like a hoe. Thank you, Magic Mike writes again, for writing the chapter and for the insight that you gave us with the 100 words. That was fantastic. And completely relatable. Good job. Of course, Magic Mike writes again. This means you're barred from writing chapter 3. You can come back for chapter 4, but no, you can't do 2 in a row because we have to let someone else have a chance. So thank you so much, but you must step down for this next one. Please enjoy the episode, though, because we're going to be talking about your chapter and where we go from here. You know, I always spend a fair amount of each podcast begging everyone to write in And luckily, we do have some takers because this is way more fun than just me and Rip doing it. But, I think I should just thank the people who are listening who are not writing it. Thank you for listening. Thank you, honestly. I mean, obviously, this is a teeny tiny podcast, so every single listen counts, and thank you so much. I'm super grateful that anyone enjoys this. So, thank you. But, you can always write in. And actually, if you have any writer friends, let them know. See if they're interested. If they're the type of people who love doing writing prompts and stuff like that, then this might be right up their alley. Really, really low stakes, just off the top of your head kind of stuff. Now, we're not alone on this quest to write a romantasy story. I compiled romance, beats and fantasy beats into a romantasy beat sheet, which will be linked everywhere. I couldn't find a romantasy beat sheet on the internet in my very limited skills, so I made my own, and that's what we'll go with. But we do have a professional. Yeah, we do. Her name is Georgia Summers. She's our guru for this season, and she has a guru tip for us. It's important to balance more general tropes with specificity. If you rely too heavily on tropes to convey your romance, readers might feel that they're missing the special element of your novel that makes your romance stand out. Consider how you can utilize tropes to highlight your romance while not losing the elements of specificity and surprise. Perhaps there's a trope you love, but have always wanted to turn it on its head. Or perhaps there's a trope that you've always wanted to do your way. Thank you so much, Ms. Summers. What a great tip. Actually, that's kind of exciting if you think about it. And it's kind of what we're doing here. We're just doing things that... What was that? Is that... I think I heard a brainstorm. Well, I guess it's time to go through the secret passageway into the Spooky Room Productions lounge, and hopefully there will be a person there to brainstorm with us. Let's go. Let's do it. I don't see anyone here in the Spooky Room Productions lounge. Let me just... Goo, 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 goo. Oh, there's somebody. It's Ripley. Hi, I didn't see you. You were kind of hidden behind the thing there. You can come out. Come on out. It's okay.
I'm gonna sit in my chair.
Okay, good idea. All right. So this chapter was written by someone else, someone new. Magic Mike writes again.
Not Pa.
No, but I think it was really well written, actually. I think it's kind of beautiful and fun and relatable, and it's great. I just really enjoyed it. And it brought the magic into the character in a way that I was not doing myself,
Yes, I suppose.
What do you mean she glows?
Definitely. There's definitely magic there for
Yeah,
sure. Mm-hmm.
so...
Oh my God.
So that's interesting. Hermes is walking on things.
He's walking on the board again.
Okay, he's okay.
He's in the courts.
No.
Oh, he's gonna jump on the open arch juice.
Hermes,
The arch juice.
don't do it.
Don't
Don't.
No, don't.
Okay, he's walking over it.
Over the
It's
buttons.
fine.
Good boy.
Okay,
Yes. All right.
he's settling.
Okay.
He's fine.
That was a very exciting time last
Okay. Anyway, so thank you, Magic Mike writes again.
time. Oh, thank God.
Thank God, that was great. So this, we have to get to, well, to be honest, if I'm going to be perfectly honest,
Mm-hmm.
Magic Mike writes again did not completely get, okay.
Oh.
My God, sorry, Hermes is,
He took it out.
he jumped off the thing and he jumped and he landed on my laptop and slammed it closed, which I need to now open again, but he also knocked over this whole thing.
Your accoutrement holder.
Yeah, a bunch of little drawers and stuff.
I love my babies.
Why does he Anyway, let me
He
get
loves
my
attention.
laptop going again.
So that was chapter 2. So they were supposed to do half of Nobody's Perfect
Yeah.
and all of Meet the Mentor, correct?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the only thing I
Mentor definitely met.
Yeah.
Lots of books that they have.
Books.
Mm-hmm. That was a big part that I noticed because, supposedly in a romantasy world, books would be rare to come by. Although I'll
Oh,
get into that
really?
in a second, romantasy
I've
world.
Have you been doing research?
No, it's a fantasy thing. Books are
Oh.
very expensive to make.
Well, not
'Cause they're
in
all
this.
handwritten,
Fuck that. In this world, people, it's fine.
Well, that's just why I noticed there were so many books.
Oh,
so
okay.
That's why I saw them as a mentor person.
Oh, well, I saw him as a mentor just because he was mentoring her,
That too.
and he was being really nice.
He was.
I thought he was being so nice. It's kind of crazy.
And we'll get into that in a second too.
But the only thing I was going to say that Magic Mike Writes Again kind of missed on was the first meeting between main characters should be memorable, and at least one of them should explain internally or externally why they will not fall in love with each other, which is fine. I still selected it to be the chapter.
That's
so
Dondry? Is it Dondry?
Canon.
Canon?
Dodistry.
Canon Dodistry, yes.
Dodinstry? I don't remember. But
No,
anyway,
it's in the
so
list, alright.
that's fine. You know, we can. They definitely did the mentor thing, and I think did something really smart in that we see not only the lovemaking, which was tastefully written, by the way.
Tasteful. There
Thank
was
you
no
very
mention
much.
of members.
No, yeah, I think that you rode the line really well there.
Mhm.
That was really nice. Thank you very much. But also the aftermath of her feeling empty about it. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
thought that was really nice.
That
It
was nice.
wrapped up
Mhm.
in a neat
Very
little package
human.
for us. And they introduced a new character, Wes's brother. The
Oh,
mystical
yes.
star brother
Mhm.
with cowboy gear. I mean, that's fantastic.
Oh, do you think that maybe they're introducing him as the mentor?
Maybe. It could be.
That instead of the bartender, it'll actually be the mentor will be the star guy. Where'd you go?
Oh, I don't know. My microphone fucked up.
There we go.
It's totally possible.
I
mean,
guess it's
we
interpretive,
could.
isn't it?
Yeah, it depends on where we go, I
Mhm.
guess. But we could have it
That's
just
two options for people out there.
exactly.
Or us, you know.
So I thought that was a really good idea.
Now
and it was nice.
You want to get into the actual writing?
Let's go.
Okay. I'm not meaning I'm going to slam it at all because it was wonderful.
It really was.
Thank
well,
you,
it was
everybody
well
who writes
done.
in.
Yeah.
So was that tear rolling down their eye? The person in the photograph had a tear rolling down their eye?
I think so.
Okay, because that's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
all right. So, and also in our fantasy world, we were originally, I think, like basic fantasy, where it's just like, oh, orcs and elves and blah, blah, blah.
I remember low magic. That's the only thing I remember.
Definitely. But here we have photography, because there's a photograph,
Uh-huh.
and cowboys.
Yeah.
So
It's
definitely,
an alternate universe.
Definitely. So that sort of ups us into like, we're now like in the 1800s type era,
Sure. Oh, you know
Which-
what? I never thought of that. You're right.
which they wrote it. It exists now.
and
That's the joy of this.
because of Magic Mike's Writes Again, we also know now that Lulia has this weird firefly power that comes over her when
Yes.
she's emotionally distressed
Hmm.
and horny and stuff.
Or well, when she feels a lot of emotions.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm sure that, yes. So that's really cool that they did that because I'm really bad with magic. Hermes don't.
So in the future, we're like, just remember we're in that phase. And they gave
Yeah.
the bar a name.
No, I gave the bar a name.
Oh,
The Ladder in
you,
Mud.
you called it that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm bad at naming stuff.
All right. I thought they did that.
No, I did that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, now it's swin time. Let me
Swin.
play the tune.
Mm.
SWINT. Are they in love or just horny? Swin. All right, so swin is a romantic situation indicator that I made up. You have to get 3 out of 5 for it to be a romantic situation. And here we go. So S stands for spontaneous or surprise.
No.
I mean, he just kind of says, I have a room. And then, but that's not really, I think
that's no more than any other initiation.
And
of,
she's-
you want to?
yeah, because she seemed to know because before she actually went up the stairs, she was like, it says her heart screamed no, but her body, it was too tired, too lonely. So
Mhm.
she knew.
She
So that
knew.
was not
No
a surprise. Okay.
Mhm.
W is weird lighting.
No.
It doesn't really seem to have weird
No,
lighting.
not. There's only weird lighting after the act
Or during.
when she started glowing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay, so then there's I, which is isolation. They
Mm.
were alone, so that's one.
Yeah. Usually it doesn't happen in crowds, though.
No,
So.
but that's why you have to get 3.
I guess. Yeah, okay. Isolated. They were. They
So,
were isolated.
N is nature. Not really.
No.
There wasn't even flowers in the room.
No.
So no, there wasn't any nature, and the last one is
Dick.
dancing or at least music,
Mhm.
and there was not.
Mhm.
So they got a 1 out of Swind, which means it is not a romantic situation, which I think that Magic Mike Writes Again did on purpose. So
Mhm.
so it was not a romantic situation, but it was successful in so much that they had a pleasant sexual time.
Yes, they had an encounter.
Now, do you want to do the Ripley Swind?
Yeah.
Go
okay.
ahead.
So it's S is
Shock.
Shock. No, shock.
No.
No. Weird touching.
No,
that wasn't
No,
weird.
it seemed like everyone was
Mhm.
normal.
And what's I?
Isolation. I think that's the same.
Isolation. Yes.
So that was
And,
it.
yeah, okay. All right. And nudity. Yeah.
Yeah, there was
and,
nudity.
And dick.
There was Dick.
There was dick.
So it was a Ripley.
It was a Ripley Swin. It was romantic enough for Ripley.
So there you go.
There you go.
Cool. So let's
Just
get
that way you have to remember that we're sort of like in the 1800s now,
Sure.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
But with magic.
Yeah.
And that he wasn't like all like, holy shit, and stabbed her in the face or something when she started glowing. He's like, ugh. He's just like, oh yeah, you're glowing. That's pretty
Well,
wild.
that probably speaks to the level of magic either
Mhm.
in the world or just that Wes is comfortable with and familiar with.
Yeah, maybe
himself
because of his brother.
exactly.
Mhm.
So
So
who
maybe
knows?
that was the reason he was like, oh, that's cool. I've seen that kind of thing before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not lame. I'm hip to the magic scene. You know, if you're going to be running a bar, you got to be hip to the magic scene. It's underground, but it's there.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure.
Mhm.
But okay, so I think we should get into canon now. Or I mean, we could drop canon altogether and just go for the brother as being the love interest. But the point is, the love interest has to happen now.
Mhm.
So I guess I should read the beats that we need to cover in chapter 3. Are you ready, everybody?
All right, go for it.
All right, beat 4. This is the whole beat. Hand on the knob. Main container. Why did I say container?
Main container.
Sorry. Main character 1 commits to embarking on the journey, leaving their comfort zone behind and potentially facing unknown dangers. They are scared and uncertain about what lies ahead, yet brave enough to continue. The main characters start to realize they might fall in love. Perhaps they see a different side of each other or have an inexplicably romantic moment, a swind perhaps. This signals that the characters are willing to face unknown dangers and fears. We need to do half of beat 5. The door opens. In this part of the story, the hero is on the brink of a big change. They face a small but significant problem that makes it clear there's no turning back to their old life. It's like everything is upside down and they feel hopeless, but they know they have to push through and keep going. The main characters are starting to fall for each other, showing their bond growing deeper. Perhaps another swind. So only half of that, so I guess we'll say that it's in this part of the story, the hero is on the brink of a big change. They face a small but significant problem that makes it clear there's no turning back to their old life. And like, we'll let her make a decision at the end of the chapter or something.
So we have a big decision to make. Is this bartender her love interest?
That's the thing. And
I think that, at the end when they were like, we're not, we were just reaching out for each other, et cetera,
oh my
et cetera.
God, you're right.
It's clearly stated, but the only problem with that is that it's clearly stated before that they have to directly vocalize why they will not fall in love. So they might have been thinking that they have to vocalize it, but they will actually fall in love later.
I mean, I don't think that they specifically said we're not going to fall in love, but it seemed like from the way they were talking, and he became sort of almost a fatherly, mentor-y kind of figure.
That's the way I go. I just wouldn't want to take it away from Magic Mike Writes Again.
So you're saying that in Magic Mike Writes Again, imagination, perhaps this was the first meeting between the main characters.
Yeah, although I would not say that it is because they slept with each other, so that, you cannot have, a romantic falling in love after they fucked already.
You could, but it's more. Yeah. I think it's probably more exciting if it's someone.
So I'm going to say they weren't thinking
who she has not fucked
and that
yet.
it is still the
canon.
Canon, yes.
Yeah.
Canon Dondestry, who is now definitely playing a lute.
Lute. So we have the instrument. Thank
Did
you,
we
Magic
declare
Mike
that last time? They were definitely going to be 100% a harp.
You mentioned it was going to be a harp.
Yeah, but now it is definitely in canon.
It is
canon
a lute.
Canon is playing a harp.
No, lute.
Lute. Lute.
All right, so, okay, so main container one commits to embarking on the journey, leaving their. So what's this journey?
Okay, obviously the brother has to show up and say, "Listen, blah 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 blah."
See, I think the brother should be saved for later down the line. To be honest, I think that maybe.
So we're going to say that the bartender is mentor.
Yeah, let's say the bartender is mentor.
Yeah.
And by the way, everyone who's listening to this, you do not have to follow this brainstorm. If you have a better way to hit the beats...
Follow Magic Mike's lead. Do your own time.
Yeah.
We will make it work.
Well, we're just all... Yeah.
You know whose problem that is? Next guy's problem.
Exactly.
You write your thing and it's next guy's problem.
It really is. That's what the whole last season was like that. We were just like, I don't know where this is going, but I don't know. This will get it to the next part. And it worked out. Like, we got to the end. Anyway, oh my God, I'm sorry I'm rambling. Okay. So, what do you think?
So they got to leave.
Well, yeah, so some kind of, I'm assuming, it's be more fun if it was a physical journey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and also to say why the bartender, I'm sorry, Wes, should be considered the mentor is he literally was like, yo, like, I will tell you how to survive in this crazy town.
Oh, that's true.
So, okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's good. We got it. Okay. So we need to get Canon and Lulia together. They need to meet for real, and then they can explain internally or externally why they will not fall in love with each other, I guess.
We got to get that beat in.
We got to
jammed
get
into
really
this
fast. Like, just
get,
boom.
Get that in there, 2 lines.
Yeah, this could be like a meet cute or whatever.
Or even, or him just even like, listen to them fuck in the background while he's like, man, she was pretty hot.
Honestly, it could be as easy as she sees him and she doesn't like his beard or something. And then...
Yeah, while they're on their way to their journey of wherever it will be.
I don't know. But, I mean, they should probably meet before the journey is set because they have to be stuck on the journey together. Or I guess the journey could be set and then Wes is like, and here's Canon Dondestry. He'll be going with you. I guess.
So we need a thing for them to go to.
Yeah. So, okay, let's say that some rich guy comes into the bar and he hears Canon and the band and he's like, this is a cool band and I have a birthday party that I could hire the band. And then the rich guy sees Lulia and he's like, oh, she's a hot piece of whatnot. And she should come with the band.
Yeah. Playing tambourine and whatnot?
Yeah. And no, because she's not really in the band. But the thing is that the rich guy doesn't want the band to come if she's not in the band. Because really he wants her as well, right? He wants her to be at the party, the birthday party at the palace.
Right.
And so the rich guy goes to Canon and he's like, or Wes, and says, yo, I want to hire the band, bring the chick. The Wes and or Canon brings the idea to Lulia. She's like, I don't want to just go to be a piece of meat. I'm gonna have to be a part of the band. All
right, here's how I would set that scene.
Okay.
When you're a 1980s movie, etc. We're in the 1800s, and you open up on the bar. But say it's like a week later. She's already working at the bar because, she's got to do something to earn money, and the guy's helping her out, and da-da-da-da-da. So she's working the bar. Canon is doing his little set, da-da-da. And then maybe even it's like 2 days later. So they haven't really interacted with each other. And like, Cannon's like, hey, blah, blah, blah. Why don't you go up on stage? Bang this tambourine. She's like, oh, okay. It's a little meet cute type of thing. They get up on stage. And just when she's up on stage, banging the tambourine, that's when the rich guy comes in and he's like, oh, my God.
Okay.
And then she's not really in the band. She's just up there. Because everybody knows every now and then a chick goes up on stage and she'll bang the drums or smack a tambourine. She's like, I'm having fun. That's what happens.
Okay. How about this? Okay. She's at the bar. Wes is, he's like, you can stay with us for a week or whatever until you get on your feet and you get a job and find your way and blah, blah. So she's kind of staying there. So she's hanging out at the bar, having a drink or two. Cannon and them are up playing their music. Maybe she says something like, I'm trying to think of how they can kind of be enemies kind of situation.
Oh, you want her to be enemies?
Well, at least some kind of friction. You know what I mean?
Antagonism?
Yeah, that's the word, antagonism. So maybe she can be like, oh, like, I've heard better tambourine playing from a donkey. Because, like, the guy who plays the drums has a tambourine that he smacks with his stick sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Or something. And then she goes up and shows them what she's got. Ken is like, oh, yeah, you think you can do better? And then she's like, I'll show you. And she strides up and tambourines, and then the rich guy comes in.
Yeah, something along those lines to get her up on stage.
Okay. So then...
Yeah, then the rich guy comes in and he's like, oh, look at that. I love this band, but I like her. Ooh, etc.
Yes. Okay, cool. So, so Wes tells them that the rich guy wants to hire them, and Cannon's like, yeah, and she's like, cool. So then, but Cannon's like, oh, we're going to have to practice and make some songs and stuff, so now we're gonna have to work together, so then maybe when they're working together there's some kind of weird swindy situation that happens between them, and it says perhaps they see a different side of each other or have an inexplicably romantic moment. This signals that the characters are willing to face unknown dangers and fears. So what are the unknown dangers and fears? We don't really know much about Cannon, so let's go by Lulia.
Well, Cannon could just open up about something while they're doing something, and then that will lead to the
it'll
moment.
be like something, maybe like he used to also have a fiancée or something.
Oh.
But we don't hear what happened to her or why they're not married. But then she's like, oh, I used to have a fiancé too.
Didn't work out.
And then they kind of bond over that or something. I don't know. And then
it's like she wouldn't put out either.
Then there's a romantic moment, something like that. Okay, so in this part of the story, the hero is on the brink of a big change. They face a small but significant problem that makes it clear there's no turning back to their old life. So they go to the palace for the birthday party. The thing is, Lulia knows some rich people. Maybe she was rich back in her village or whatever, her town.
Yes.
So she actually knows the.
I always felt like Joppy was a little lordly.
Okay, so there's a chance that someone at the party will. So
someone either recognizes her or
So someone does, and it's actually Joppy's best friend. And so she knows that he's going to tell Joppy where she is. And so she's like, well, what can I do about this? And maybe I don't know, does she seduce him?
Or they're at the party, and this is a completely different route.
Yeah.
So you might not like
this.
Go. They're at the party. They're doing their little show, and then something happens. Bump, 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 which the band was not supposed to see.
Oh, okay.
Maybe they're, packing up at the end of the night, or, it's a late night thing. They see something they're not supposed to see, and they're like, bum, bum, bum. And the Lord's like, you should not have seen that. Ba, 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 ba. And then they're like, oh, shit. Now we're fucked. We can't just go back to regular life. We got to fucking take off.
So Cannon and Lulia see this thing?
Mm-hmm. And then they see it together and like, oh, no.
And,
so now we have to get on the run.
Oh, so they have to go on the run.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't even go back to the mud and ladder or whatever.
Maybe they can, but not right away. They might even be able to send back messages and stuff, but they're like, oh no, now we have to run.
Okay,
what do you think of that?
I think that's a good idea. I'm just trying to think of what the bad thing would be where they. I mean, I don't know. what bad thing do you think they could
Oh,
see?
the Lord could be like, like beating up some servant or something. They might not care about that, or he's just killing some woman or something. Oh, yeah. Because, they're backstage, and they're in the back room, and something happened. Oh, Jesus.
This is a big chapter for 1,000 words, but you know what? That's part of the challenge.
We're kind of shoehorning stuff in from previously, though, already, so.
Yeah.
Sometimes it goes long. Okay. Write a paragraph.
Oh, no, it has to be 1,000 or the form will not accept it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
It'll kick it.
Yeah, the form will be like, no.
Submit it in 2 parts, people. Get around her.
No, I would notice that. I receive these forms.
Just put part 2 on there.
No, I cannot. We can't start bending rules like that because then this thing would get out of control.
Out of control.
Anyway, I think that sounds good.
Or something,
Yeah. So the old life that they can't go back to is the life at the Ladder and Mud.
It could be.
Okay.
Could be.
So they would have to go to, maybe they have to live in the woods. Maybe Cannon knows.
Well, they can't go back to the Ladder and Mud, so they send back a letter, and then they get a message back, and he's like, all right, the closest person you can find that will be able to help you is my brother. Exactly.
Okay. Now it's all coming together.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then she had to go off to meet his brother.
Okay. All right. Now I'm in. Now I'm in. Okay. All right.
And then, etc.
Okay.
And what else do we have to hit there?
I think that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that'll hit everything.
Okay. And we might not even meet the brother in the next chapter. Next
who
chapter,
knows where the journey takes
but
them.
at least they're on the way to the brother.
Yeah, exactly. That's the plan. That's the journey.
No, that's good. I like that a lot, actually.
I love pulling other people's stuff into our stuff.
I love it. It's the best.
Because otherwise, why are we doing this? You just write your thing and then we ignore it? No. Must always go forward.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Magic Mike writes again.
Magic Mike writes again.
You can't write this one, but you can come back for number 4. We would love you to come
we
back.
miss you.
Yeah. We're
come back, Paul.
Pseudo-anonymous. Come on. Throw your hat in the ring. All right. So now, Ripley, is the time for you to give a motivational speech to get people to write in.
You know what? The important thing is that you do it. And we're going to love whatever you do because you're all special and unique little writers. And you deserve to have your things read online by someone who'll put sound effects to it. Yeah. And I think that's lovely.
I have limited sound effects, but I do.
I was thinking sounds made with limited sound effects.
I was thinking I was just going to start making my own sound effects.
Yes, that sounds good too.
I just can't find as many free sound effects as I would like.
I know. What's with the world these days?
Fuck, everything. We're just like, you can't just take things for free.
Everything costs money now. Fucking pisser.
All right.
Jesus H. Christ.
So now, if people hearing you talk like that, I'm sure that they would like to see more of you. So tell them where they can find you. And
you have to go to SpookyRoomProductions.com. Then you're going to learn all about the Concordia role-playing game, which is a spooky role-playing game that I make.
What?
And there's a YouTube channel. It's Ripley Stonebrook. And you're going to learn more about the Concordia role-playing game. Because that is what I'm shilling right now. Also, there's a Patreon. You can find it under Patreon, under Ripley Stonebrook. But just go to the website, and then you'll find the Patreon there. Because you know how Patreon is. You can never find what you're looking for. They're all like, I'm going to hide it. So that's for the role-playing game, and the website, and all the stuff we do, and this podcast. Please join.
Oh, and we have another podcast that we do together called...
Barely.
Monster Vault. Well, this podcast is under my purview, and Monster Vault is under Ripley's purview.
So yeah, it gets done way less. Guess what? Concordia sucks up a lot of time, everybody.
Yeah,
but
so
yeah,
I mean,
we're partway through The Mummy, and we're gonna do The Mummy and The Mummy later. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, I look forward to watching The Mummy.
And you know what's funny? There's another Mummy movie coming out this year, I think.
Oh my god.
But I'm like, no, we're sticking to the ones we picked. We're not going to do some new Mummy movie. Mummy movie.
The Mummy movie.
The Mummy movie.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back to the studio.
I'm going to do my thing right here.
Okay, bye. Wow, that was an amazing brainstorm. And I think I'm pretty much ready to start writing. I'm sure other people are too. But whoa. Hey, whoa. What? Stop. First, we have to do a little thing I call this 15-second R&R, where I try to tell you all of the rules, there are 9 of them, that I have made up to make sure that I don't just get random things. If you want to know what the rules actually say, because you're considering actually submitting, it will be linked everywhere. Okay, let me get the timer. But my normal timer, it reappeared, but it's kind of broken. So we're back on internet timer, and I will start that now. All right, every podcast, there's going to be a chapter. There's a 1,000-word limit. Any form is fine. You have to keep things R, so no sex with underage or animals, and I'm not going to do any editing. Research is completely optional. The tombola is a random draw of qualified entries. Shit. I think I did less than normal on that one. Okay. If you want to submit, go to spookyroomproductions.com, and you know how to use the website. I will link it everywhere. You can use your real name or your pen name. There is a 100-word chapter heroes words that you can write, anything you want. Disclaimers or self-promo or anything. You do not... I already said that. Also, there's an illustrated podcast on YouTube, Crandall Monk. I do other stuff there, too. And if you want to submit any artwork, the submission form is the same. And I just always like to tell you that there is no sign-up. There's no reading fee. I only want your chapter. You don't have to give me your email, any of that crap. But also, you will never, ever get paid in any way except for the joy that hearing your chapter read on the podcast and then discussed and part of this beautiful thing we're creating together is that will be payment enough, right? Magic Mike writes again. You feel that, Okay. Before I tell you the submission dates and everything closes and pod drops and blah blah blah, we have one more thing, one last piece to really, because you got the information, you got some ideas bubbling. Well, here's one more piece of advice, piece of encouragement in our author quote. Connie Brockway says, romance novels transcend class and race and gender by tapping into universal tropes. They encourage us to dream, to provide a respite from the daily grind, and to fuel the imagination. Thank you, Ms. Brockway. I think that's exactly what we all needed to hear. So the submissions close on June 11th, 2025, and the next pod will drop on June 22nd, 2025, hopefully with your chapter. Everything is linked below and everywhere. You can go to spookyroomproductions.com and click around there and see what you like, and don't forget, of course, Crandall Monk on YouTube. So, enough of this chattering. It's time to start writing, illustrating, telling your writer friends about this podcast, because they probably would have fun, at least listening to it, But always, always remember, it's better to finish something than to give up on everything. You know what I mean. Let's go.